Why did Israel strike Syria's military headquarters? This needs a lot of background. Violence broke out between Druze militias and Bedouin gunmen in Syria after a Druze merchant near Damascus was abducted. The fighting that broke out quickly became horrific. Bedouin gunmen committed summary executions and arbitrary killings of the Druze, including civilians, and they looted shops and set them on fire. The president of Syria, Ahmed al-Sharaa, tried to announce an immediate ceasefire early on, except violence continued anyway, and government forces were reported to be involved in the attacks on the Druze. In 1 week, over 1,000 people died. Israel intervened militarily to protect Druze communities by striking Syrian government forces, culminating in an attack on Syria's Ministry of Defense and the Syrian army headquarters in Damascus. Now a fragile ceasefire is holding, but it could unravel any day. And since nobody seems to understand the relationship between the Israelis and the Druze, or Syria's president, or the rivalry between the Druze and the Bedouins, I figured we should discuss. The Druze people are a small religious and ethnic group that broke away from Shia Islam about 1,000 years ago. Some are opposed to the Syrian government and see Israel as a protector. Syria's Bedouins are Sunni Muslim Arab tribes who have always worked with the Syrian army, including the new Syrian government. Since the 1700s, Druze militias and Bedouins have fought each other in this corner of the world, often over land and water. Because what rivalry in the Middle East wouldn't be at least a few hundred years old? The rivalry grew over time because the Druze wanted self-rule, and under each chapter of leadership, so the Ottomans, then the French, and then after Syria's independence, the leaders of the time worked with the Bedouins to control the Druze. Things became even worse during Syria's civil war, when some Bedouin tribes sided with jihadist groups like ISIS, which terrorized and killed many Druze civilians. Now you may wonder how Israel features in all of this. Israel and the Druze have a deep bond because the Druze in Israel have fought in the IDF and died alongside Jewish Israelis in every war since 1948. In fact, they call it the Covenant of Blood. In 1956, Israel and the Druze made a pact that offered the Druze full citizenship benefits tied to military service, so things like housing, education, and veteran support, in exchange for mandatory conscription in the IDF. And Druze leaders in Israel have often publicly affirmed their loyalty to Israel because they see that pact as a way to secure their own safety and influence. The Druze in Israel are also tied closely to the Druze in Syria. In fact, many of them are family relatives. So Israel said it intervened because they felt a duty to protect this minority and to honor the bond it shares with the Druze. And Israel also wants to prevent southern Syria from being infiltrated with Islamist fighters. When all this broke out, the US asked Israel to stop its strikes in Syria because the US wants Syria's president al-Sharaa to be in control of the country. But the fact is that he's not. His army has committed atrocities against the Alawites. Extremists have targeted Christians. In fact, they bombed a church in Damascus a few weeks ago, killing 30 people. So the problem here isn't Israel striking. It's that minorities don't feel protected under al-Sharaa's Islamist government, and al-Sharaa isn't doing anything to change their mind on that.